this is DJ Devil Pope. I am interviewing Slaughtercult. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and let the listeners know where you're from and mention any other projects that you may have or may be a part of?
Sean, you go first.
Yeah, right. I'm Sean. I play bass in Slaughtercult. This is the only band that I'm in, other than some high school stuff that I used to muck around with the boys. That's about it, really. This is all I do.
Yeah. Right, I'm Jeremy. I'm the lead guitarist and main vocalist of Slaughtercult. And I have thousands of projects, most of which are come to fruition. But Slaughtercult's the main one. Yeah.
I'm Matt. I play drums, and I only have one other project called Gulge, which is the most stupid grindcore band. It's just not even worth mentioning. There's about 8 of us. Jed's also in it. He just doesn't want to tarnish his reputation.
Gonna bring it up.
Gold sucks.
Yeah.
Gulge sucks.
Classic.
Yeah.
All right. So, from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The band has existed since 2022. Is that right?
Basically, like online,
Yep.
Jed and I, with some of our old mates, Justin is our original drummer, and his brother Matt, not this Matt. We started jamming like after the first wave of lockdowns in like 2020 under like 20 different band names. And then Slaughtercult started putting stuff out in 2022. Wanted to have something online to show promoters, try and book us some slots. And thankfully it worked. People liked what we threw out there.
Nice. Well, your name for me actually popped up a few times with older death metal bands that were sort of putting up a bit of a mention of Mortician. They sort of mentioned a bit of an obsession, and I thought, no, okay. And then when I went and had a look, I went, oh, shit.
Hey, there it is. He's wearing the shirt.
But yeah, the Gape guys were very impressed. They're a bit older and they're obsessed with that kind of death metal. Anything pre-90s that they love. But once you get to something that's as raw as Mortician, it's right up their fucking alley. And the same with the Pulverized guys and the Hemorrhage guys. They all said the same thing. So they were very happy to see you guys coming over for this show.
Hell yeah. No, I feel like when you try and just make really heavy music, it always ends up sounding like Mortician. So
Like a few bands that have said the same sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, a few bands have said the same sort of thing. Any minute that it's raw, but it's real heavy and you can still make it out. Down here, because everything in Tasmania for a long time was death metal, even before Psychroptic. It was like Hemorrhage was kind of heading to grind almost, but it's still really death metal. And some of the other stuff that Chalky, the original vocalist for Psychroptic, did, even the Psychroptic guys before that, most of it was just straight up death metal. So down here, that kind of stuff's just worshipped. And it still is now. It's broken up a bit more now. There's a lot more different sorts of music down here, black metal, fucking metalcore, all that stuff. But yeah, down in Tassie, for some reason, it always goes back to that kind of thing.
I was going to say
the coming down.
Tassie is all the black metal, but that must be newer.
Like some of the underground black metal stuff down here has been around for a while, but it's not really. They don't really do much. Like, they record stuff. Obviously, you got we'll call him Russell, but Streborg.
He's solo man, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's always solo projects.
Yeah.
He does some interesting shit now, though. He's really moved into like digital music and fucking bizarre shit, like even more bizarre than what he was doing as a black metal band. He's been going to the Mona Museum down here. He's like the richest guy in the state, and he's getting him to do some of his black metal stuff, but then he goes out and does like this weird electric. I don't know what you call it. Like he calls it dark wave or something. Just that kind of shit.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. You might feel something interesting when you come to Tassie. It's a fucking weird place, man.
Yeah. It'll be my first time in Tassie.
Yep.
Go,
I don't know
Sean.
if the other boys. You guys been to Tassie yet?
No.
Ever?
No.
There you go. We're all setting foot for the first time.
We're used to hearing that quite often.
Life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fucking pain in the ass to get down here to do any shows or tour as well because of costs. We're forever trying to get bands over from WA and stuff, and they just always gave us a middle finger. it's
True.
it's just not worth it unless you're a big band, and you can get on a couple of big shows, doing pub shows. Even if you do like 10, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's what we do on these interviews. We get our wires crossed and start dribbling shit. So you released an album last year titled Meathead. What was the writing process like for that? And was it a whole of band approach, or do you have a particular member who writes most of the songs?
I sort of write everything, but I try and run everything by everyone at least once, with some level of group. I don't know what you'd call it, group opinion. But I think for Meathead, we sort of really wanted something out that wasn't the last project we put out, because I personally wasn't. But I really wanted to put something out, and so I spent like hours in the garage just writing stuff by myself, and just running it by Justin and Sean, making sure everyone liked it, sort of thing, and yeah, pretty much.
Nice. It's usually always good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like hardly ever a time where I go like, no, chuck it. It'll be like, oh, can you just tweak this little bit just for me? Do it for me.
Yeah.
Good.
Usually what'll end up happening is I'll write something and then Sean will give me this completely impossible criticism. Like, it just doesn't sound dark enough. You know what I mean? He won't tell me about the mix, won't tell me about the notes, nothing about the composition. He'll be like, yeah, I just don't like the way that bit like feels.
Could it be a bit colder?
Yeah. What do you actually want me to do?
The time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, we mentioned like other people's opinions saying about mentioning Mortician and, the way you sound. Are there any other bands or even other types of music that might have influenced, your writing and how you go about that process?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love Mortician. Like, that band's so hectic. But I also like, there's a lot of sort of new wave, sort of, dumb, super heavy, chunky death metal bands like Sanguisugabog and Fluids and all of them, and sort of a lot of that like American stuff. But even bands like Devourment, like I love brutal death metal.
Love
Devourment.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
I feel like a lot of our newer stuff is sort of going in that direction just because we're not as ridiculously bad at playing instruments now.
And now that we've got Matt, oh my God.
Yeah. And Matt's like a bananas drummer. So we can sort of do more, crazy, cacophonic, unpredictable shit. Nice. But yeah, I'd definitely say for Meathead, though, that was just a lot of Mortician. Like, like heaps of it. Who else though? Like, I don't know.
It's probably not like influenced into music, but like I love some of the old grind bands like Pig Destroyer, or I still haven't actually listened to the new Nails album, but like Unsilent Death is like one of my favorite albums. Sort of that type of stuff. Anything that's just super aggressive.
Actually, that's true. There's a bunch of like grindcore that I do listen to, like anything like, Haggis or like Sulfuric Quartery, or like any sort of, like really intense grind shit that's more like death metal. Like I really like anything like that. And we have some grindy bits in our songs, but yeah.
I have to be honest, when I joined the band, I hadn't heard of Mortician. And these guys completely got me into it, but I was still like completely into like deathcore and stuff. And these guys met me and was like, what's your favorite Mortician song? I was like, oh, I can't tell you.
So many.
Yeah, I love them all.
Yeah. Oh, I'll do it by albums.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand all those influences. I'm an interesting one. I sort of started off with just basic death metal, Morbid Angel, Deicide, Carcass. You know, started getting into some grind, Napalm Death, Lock Up later on. Some of the earlier stuff there too, but then I got caught up in the groovy, like Czech sort of shit, the stuff that you see at like fucking what's
Obscene.
that? Yeah, Obscene Extreme stuff and like Gutterlux and shit like that, and just fucking Razor Rape and all these weird bands and Jig Eye. I was so stoked when they came to Australia, but I got caught up in that sort of stuff. So I've got CDs of everything, and I listen to all sorts of music. I listen to fucking rap and I don't know, jazz sort of shit on occasion here or there. It's got to be in a real good mood for that shit, but even maybe a country song. But yeah, when I'm just sitting back and I want to listen to death metal more often than not, it's fucking weird groovy shit. Like I'm one of those people that could put on a Last Days of Humanity CD and listen to it through.
Yeah. No, they're fun though.
It's fucking weird shit, but I love it.
Pile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Those bands are hilarious, man.
They are, and they're when you meet them in person, like the Jig Eye guys were just bizarre. I don't know if it was a language barrier to start with, but when they started talking, their English was fine. Understanding might have been a bit different, but they just looked at us like they were gonna fucking kill someone.
I just love all those clips where you can't really tell who's in the band and who's in the crowd because like all the band will just have like no clothes on and like a rubber duck around their face, and it's like sick, man. Like, yeah.
A band from here, they don't exist anymore. The members are still floating around. Now You're Fucked. They went over and played over in the Czech Republic and then done Obscene Extreme Australia, the second one, when Jig Eye come over. And yeah, their vocalist, Sam, just said fuck it and stripped off on stage. That was fucking Footscray, I think. I could be wrong.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was bizarre because no one expected it. And he's getting us to film. We're all like, oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Just, you know, when you don't expect it, whether it's your mate or not, you're just like, what the fuck, dude?
There's nothing like pornography.
There was that dude at Viscera Infest show in Melbourne who got completely naked and stage dived.
Yeah.
And it was just like rubbing all over everyone. It was terrible.
You know, make it everyone else. That's the thing.
Yeah. And there's a video.
Yeah, nice.
That is fucking funny. There's a video of the guys from King Parrot at the first Obscene Extreme. I think Hammer Rage was playing on stage there, and we all know each other. I didn't know the King Parrot guys that well. I knew who Squiz was, the guitarist, because he's from Tasmania and he's well known for being in like punk bands and metal bands, Dreadnought, all that sort of shit. And then, he was off his face and he fucking jokingly grabbed me and ripped my t-shirt, and I didn't realize who it was, and we got into it, and that's on camera. So fucking looked so stupid. Apologized and shit. It took a while for us to come right, but fuck, it was funny. It was so dumb, but that's Obscene Extreme for you. We need something like that over here again.
100%.
100%.
It'd be fucking sick.
King Parrot was like born to play that show, man. That's
their first shows in Tassie, they were just fucking smashing kids, throwing chairs around and shit. It was fucking funny.
Watch the language on that one.
Oh, it was crazy. They did some crazy stuff. So I guess we should mention the beef of it all. So you have a show down here in Tassie. As you said, your first time coming down in October on the 19th with Nile, Gape, the Absolution Sequence, and Pulverized Cranial Matter. Is that I guess the term we've been using is the biggest opportunity the band's had to date? Have you played with any other international bands or well-known Australian bands?
Yeah, we have. Before I joined the band, there was a show with a band called End, which I really don't know much about, but from what I know, that was good. That's about all I know from it.
That was like by far our biggest show up until this point. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that was great. After then,
you brought that one.
I don't know. I think I joined a bit after that. The first big show, which was like my 4th or 5th show, we went to Melbourne. Played Flippin' the Bird, which had some pretty big bands in there, like Extortion, and some international ones. There's Stalker and Midnight.
Yep.
I think they're both quite black metal-y, speed metal type stuff. But they were sick. From then, we had a show, I think it was after that, with Justice for the Damned, which is Australian, but kind of touring. They're quite metalcore, I think, or deathcore. I'm not sure. That was sick though. That was also with Volatile, which we've played with a few times, which are a very cool band.
They gave us our first ever show.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Was that the one with Trench Knife?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and
yeah.
Algor Mortis.
Yeah. After that, what was the next one? Viscera Infest, I think.
National bands.
Sorry?
Let's do a play-by-play.
All right, now we've gone through all the local bands. Let's get to the international.
I mentioned two. Viscera Infest, the Japanese band. Pure gore grind. Very, very cool guys. Probably like the loveliest metal guys I've met. Just like the sweetest Japanese dudes. It's crazy. And then our last one was Undeath. On the water. On a boat, which was pretty cool. That was phenomenal. But I think that's all of them.
Yeah, they're like
what I know.
Yeah. And then there's Nile.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us it's a huge deal because we do get on occasion some international bands that might come down. The Psycho guys will go out of their way sometimes to try and force inclusion. They're all from here. They grew up in Hobart. Grindhead's sort of helping out a bit now as well. Having one of their staff members down here now is pretty good for us as well. And Chalky that I mentioned before, the old vocalist for Psychroptic, runs Southern Extremities. He's brought down like Skinless, Disgorge, the Pally Gorge. I wish it was the Mexican Disgorge because they'd be awesome too. But the American guys were fucking sick. Skinless was mental.
When was that?
That was very early on. That was like 2006.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay. We didn't miss out.
Fucking.
I was born then.
Shit.
Skinless are fucking sick. I love that band.
Oh man, it was mental, and we played. It was in such a small venue that Jason was doing vocals at the time, and we just picked him up and walked around. Like we just had him on our shoulders, walking around for a whole song. I think he done Crispy Kids or something like that, and we just walked around with him, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, anything off like Progression Towards Evil is like my absolute cup of tea. Like
mint.
Like Tampon.
Yeah. Love it. With the radio show, I use fillers sometimes, like out of movies and shit, just to cover a few seconds. And I still go back to that scene from The Shining, the "I'm not going to hurt you," and that's because of Skinless.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I fucking love that bit. Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Stolen everything, and that's the problem. I found like a really good Pink Flamingos sample, and I brought it to the boys, and just the first thing was, Skinless did it, mate.
I fucking love that sample too. It rules.
It's annoying, especially if you're like a Shining fan, man. There is not a 30 seconds in that movie that hasn't been like that entire movie sampled in death metal. Like, it's crazy.
You got to get into these new gore films coming out, man, with this weird shit. Tim from Gape. He buys everything.
Yeah.
It could have been made in a fucking box out in my front yard, and he'd buy it. And then you'll be like, oh, the gore's sick, and you'll check it out and you'll be like, no, this is shit. But then there'll be like some fucking mental sample in it. You're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they are good for that. Like,
we've got some pretty silly ones.
For the live shows, yeah.
Yeah. What's
actually
the one really good one that we've got?
Well, my favorite one is it's from Scary Movie 2 with like the dude with the fucked up arm. Except I've like edited all the bits out where he mentions a turkey, so it just sounds like talking about fisting someone, and
it's got these tiny little stink holes.
yeah. So I like that one. It's been used a bunch of times, but I feel like we edited it to be sort of unique. So yeah,
nice. Well, the venue that you're going to be playing at's going to be interesting too. The Uni Bar. It's a bit different to what we have down here. It's not like a pub setting so much. The stage is fairly flat, and then behind it, well, in front of it, I should say, is the bar, and you've got the area in between where we're going to be, and then it just stretches out. It doesn't go round or loop. So it's at least the last time I seen it. I did security there. I mentioned this on the other video, so I won't go into it, but it was for this weird dubstep fucking dude, and he made a fortune. Makes thousands of dollars using other people's fucking songs. And some dickhead jumped on stage and shit, and I was just like, oh, this sucks. He was fucking oiled up. Tried to hook my leg, like he must have done some jujitsu or some shit. He tried to hook my leg, and I was like, what the fuck? So I had to start punching. And then the DJ guy was like, oh, fuck off, man. Try to throw me off the stage with him. It was fucked.
Trying to get put in an armbar by P. Diddy, that's a bad situation.
There's the song there. Yeah, it was the venue itself is just it's really good. It's much bigger. You know, the pubs down here are fairly small when it comes to that, especially the ones we've got to use now. We used to have the Brisbane Hotel, that was kind of our go-to. And those guys got forced out pretty much by the council down here, making changes on old buildings and shit all the time. So now we've got this altar bar, and we've got an older one that they sort of reopened, which is like a theater called the Odeon, but they expect like fucking 10,000 people in there. So it's a hard one to, it's the museum down here does or used to do like a festival, like Dark Mofo or some shit they call it, and Chalky was involved, and he'd bring in like big bands, like he brought Meshuggah down here. I think Dillinger Escape Plan came down as well at one point. And some other crazy fucking like black metal shit that he's into. And just weird shit like that. And that's sort of what you had to do to fill the fucking place up. So if we want to bring down a sick band, unless we can get a lot of interstaters to come down, we're kind of fucked.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Fucking 10,000. Yeah,
like I say that, I think it's the most that's been in there is probably 5, maybe even 6. But yeah.
Is that ever metal stuff though, or it's all non-metal?
I know it's metal. Like this would be for Chalky's stuff. So he's had to really fucking mix it up. You know, you couldn't do a straight death metal show or a straight black metal show. He's had to really fucking change things around.
Well, that's most shows up in Sydney. It's always a mixed show.
Well, we did it down here for a while. We had something called Apocalypse where we mixed it up, and it was a good way to get some of the younger bands in, and it got us listening to other music instead of being the old fucking death metal wankers, like metalcore bands and stuff like that. Because we all were. We were funny about it. When I spoke to the Absolution sequence that you're playing with, they were one of the bands that we got to start doing shows, and they just sort of fucking walked straight past that. They were like, "No, you're not going to call us just a metalcore band, you fuckers." And then, you know, they've evolved a lot and changed the way they do things now anyway, so they're not really in any one field. They're probably kind of death metal now, if anything. But yeah, they were the bands that we brought in, and it's funny because we were talking about that. There was a lot of guys that would never put them on shows, and now none of them do shows anymore. So they were kind of laughing about that.
Yeah. John, I feel like we almost did something similar where like so many people did the Mortician thing, like said that we were just like a Mortician band. We were like, fuck, for the next one, we've got to change something a little bit.
I was almost not going to mention it because dead set it was mentioned to me by so many different fucking people. And I was like, I can't fucking keep bringing that up. It's gonna, come across shit. But is what it is.
We'll wear it with pride. We'll wear it with pride.
Oh fucking oath, man!
It's not bad to be compared to Mortician.
Hell no.
Or to be Mortician.
The only problem, there's bands like Incinerated in Melbourne who are like the same, but fuck, they're good. Like that is a hard act to follow. So broaden the horizon a little bit, branch out.
How things are as you do more recordings and more shows. Obviously, you're doing shows, so as people see you, they're gonna get past that fucking bullshit talk.
Yeah, no, it's not even bad. Like I fucking love Mortician, but it is funny. Like literally every single person that had heard of us says like the Mortician thing, and we're like, oh no.
Like as long as we're seen as like good, we're not like budget Mortician in a bad way.
Yeah. Like, oh, they're like Mortician, not like, oh, it's just Mortician, like.
I can understand that. Bands over here, even if they didn't sound like them, everyone who came from Tasmania was compared to Psychroptic for about a decade.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It made it fucking hard, especially if you weren't putting in the money that they do for your recordings and you've just done a raw death metal demo and they're just like, another Psychroptic band. I was like, wait, it doesn't sound nothing fucking like that.
It's not even melodic.
Yeah, true. That's like every single metalcore band ever. It's like, oh, Parkway Drive.
True. You get a lot of people that'll just jump straight to that conclusion or whatever. It took me a long time to work my way around that. Since doing the radio show, I've given more of a chance to that kind of music and realized they've got their own fucking subgenres and it breaks out again and again.
Yeah.
I always thought metalcore and deathcore was the same. And then when I listen to these bands, I'm like, oh shit, it's nothing like it. It's fucking weird.
I have noticed that there's sort of this trend that at least happens in my head, where as soon as I don't like something, it's deathcore, which I think is been brought on by telling me that deathcore is shit. So yeah, it's probably not true, but I mean that's what everyone on the internet says. So that's how my brain works.
In fairness, Jed has sent me one actual deathcore song that he said was good.
Which one was that?
Was it Wall of Wax?
I can't remember. Oh yeah. Heavy hitter. Yeah,
that's it.
Do you know what? You could argue that that's like beat down hardcore though.
There you go. It's good, so it's not deathcore.
Yeah, it fits all the categories except for the one that makes it good. Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us towards the end of the interview. You guys sent me a couple of tracks that you mentioned. Do you want to give us a reason why you've chose those? We've got T400, Crystal Lake, and Conscripted Suicide.
I just think.
Do you want to do one each?
So that's why I chose. It's my fave.
Yeah. I think we were originally gonna do Cannibal Holocaust, but we thought because Crystal Lake, we've got a music video out for where Jed dressed up and came out of the woods to kill all of us. We thought it might be cool to chuck on the radio, get people to come check out the video.
Nice.
Jed cut out. Which one do I have?
No, I was saying I like Conscripted the most, so I just chose that one.
Oh,
you're on T, dude.
T400. We just released official lyric video on Slam Worldwide.
Quick
so it was only fitting to have it on.
Yeah, we've got to pump those numbers up, or we won't get signed.
Nice. Yeah. No, well, I've enjoyed it. The recording so far. I'm gonna play the shit out of it. So don't be surprised if you get random tags online for DJ Devil Pope's Aussie Metal Show. And yeah, once I get something like that, especially if I get into it, death metal, grind, anything like that, I will play the living fuck out of it. It's for the next couple of weeks you're gonna cop it anyway because of the Nile show, and well. As things move along a bit, we'll have to do this again. Sit down and you can tell me the next band that you sound like.
Yeah, I'll write a script for the next one. No surprise questions. We've got to look good next time.
I might even change my background. I've got fucking Mexican wrestling belts and all sorts of crap. There's a Freddy Krueger mask there. And glove. You know if that's shown?
No, that's sick.
A couple other random fucking things. There's a life-size cutout of Gavin Wanganeen from 1994 when he still played for Essendon.
I see his shoulder and bicep just off in the corner.
It's every now and then I'll open the blinds in part and just sit him over the side there, and it looks like he's staring at my neighbours.
I thought you meant just to see the light slowly cascade off his muscles, but
Well, some of my neighbours might like that too. I don't know.
maybe they think it's you.
Oh, mate, I used to be fucking huge. Lost a shitload of weight, and there's no way in hell I have the patience to put that kind of fucking work in.
Yeah, true.
All right, we'll end it there then. This has been DJ Devil Pope, and you're listening to thatmetalstation.com.